Welcome to Mental Health News Radio, the original podcast of the Mental Health News Radio Network. I'm your host, Kristin Walker. I have been hosting this show for over 15 years, and over time, it's evolved from traditional interviews into something I like a lot better, real, free-flowing conversations. On this network and on my own shows, we have multiple hosts and voices across mental health, trauma, and addiction recovery, each bringing their own lived experience and expertise. Some of our most listened to conversations right now center around neurodivergence, including my own late diagnosis of autism and ADHD, along with many other topics that shape how we understand mental health today. I'm also a writer and mental health advocate, which I talk about here and across the network. I'm really glad you're here. Let's get into the conversations. Hi, everyone. My next guest is my really good friend, Julie Raines. I feel just so grateful to know her. And she's a prolific writer. We get into where she writes and how you can find her at the end of the show. This is just two women chatting about something that is so pivotal for all humans. We just talk about it through the neurodivergent lens, and we add our little splash of what it is to be a female that does this too. So please enjoy and stick around to the end. Hey everybody, Kristin Walker here. I am here with my good friend Julie Raines, and we are going to talk about what the hell are we talking about?
We are talking about overfunctioning in relationships.
Thank you.
A big one for both of us.
Oh boy, yes, overfunctioning. So when I brought that up, you and I were talking about something else, and we usually have about 18 things that we're like, oh, write it down or
a lot of them.
Type it, because I can't read my writing. So this was one of them that came up. And yes, we're women, so this has a different meaning to it, but this can also apply to men too. But anyway, when I brought that up, Julie, what did you think about talking about that?
Well, it led to a lot of thought because aware already of ways in which I have historically done that, showing up, overfunctioning, being the energetic drive behind so many of my connections. And so then I had to deep dive and see even more clearly how apparent that became. And again, it's a big thing, and unlearning it. It's a big process. There's a lot to that.
Yeah, it's a huge process, and because it's in so many areas. It's not just, oh, if I stop drinking wine, life will get. It's not a single act that you can go, if I stop this, then we're done with that. Overfunctioning is in every area of your life.
It is, and it becomes automatic. We just start doing it. We think that's our role. That's what we do. This is what I have to offer. And so I'm going to offer it in abundance. That's a mild way of putting what it is, right? So then you're having to watch yourself or almost monitor a little bit as you go through connections and relationships. And am I doing this again? Am I?
Yes, the overfunctioning part, it happens once I opened this can of worms for myself around what does that mean? Because it's easy to say, oh, I overfunction. Okay, so yes, I do too much for other people. There's a way to kind of glamorize it too, because what are we told? As women, you're told overfunction. I just watched all these.
It's encouraged.
All this Elizabeth Bennet stuff and all these Downton Abbey things and all these things that my mom loves with British television and all the writing about women and the women waiting and all of this. And that was our role. That was how you could become a martyr about it. You're a savior. You're all those things. Praise for overfunction.
Yes, that as women, again, historically, I think that, and maybe particularly still for our generation, perhaps not generations after ours as much, but our generation and before, parents raised us and conditioned us to be marriable. That was for a woman.
Be marriable.
That was the goal. That was the best we can do for her, is make her appealing to a man to marry. So therefore we're taught to be pretty exceptionally generous and not think of ourselves very much at all.
Yeah, like your worth is dependent on your praise is going to be dependent on how much you can erase yourself while remaining placid
That's
and
exactly it.
gracious
Mhm.
and lovely. And then enters words like hysteria.
Uh-huh. That's a big one.
When we reach our limit and we can't fit in this tiny little box that we've only been given to move in.
Yes. Yes. And I think that, again, my circumstances over the last few years might have fallen into, somebody might have categorized my collapse, or at least it seemed like a collapse to the outside. If you were measuring functioning as value, as worth, they might have called me, they might have considered that I had hysteria, right? Because I couldn't show up the same way anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I look at it like the Harry Potter sorting hat thing. You figure out when you go to those places where you just can't do it anymore, and then you see, oh, okay. And with pain and also anger and some, for me, some things said or written that from my perspective that were accurate but also painful for another person because you realize, wait a minute, this is not a friendship.
That's huge.
And
And
they're not supportive of me when I'm done saying everything they want to say, fawning over them, doing all these things for
mhm,
them. Some people, it took a minute and they stepped back and they went, oh, they reevaluated our relationship too. And some have come back forward and we just start from there, or we work on whatever issues we had and we go from there. But some have gone by the wayside and that was good for them and good for me too.
same here. Again, it gives you, in my case, I didn't even realize how much I overfunctioned or how much of the energy was driven by me in my friendships until I collapsed, until I was not able, my cup was empty. So there was nothing to pour from, right? And so I was in a bad way and thinking that maybe they would show up where I couldn't, in maybe mirroring the ways I showed up for them, which was, again, that's my error. But they, that they might call more, that they might come and see me because they had never even been here. I did all the traveling, the arranging, a lot of the paying, a lot of the paying. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh my
and
gosh,
I
yes.
didn't mind. Again, I had a full cup. My cup was full.
Yeah.
And I had like this, I believed I had a scaffolding of safety. And so again, I did it because I wanted to, not because I felt like I had to. But when things fell apart on my side, and they not just didn't show up, as in call more or come to see me or make that effort to do the planning so that we can get together, they backed away. And then I kind of realized what my role really was, and I saw it more clearly. And again, these friendships never dissolved completely. There's still people that I love very much, and I just see that maybe their cups weren't full either,
Right.
right? So they couldn't pour into me the way that I poured into them because maybe their cups weren't full either. So there's limitation, right? And there's different capacities to show up. We're not all the same. And so again, I now change the way I show up in that it's more reciprocal. Those are still people I love deeply and will probably always be considered friends, but the relationships are redefined. And I'm not even sure if they know. I don't even know if they know, right?
I know it's so funny when you go to a certain place in your healing, you kind of go, and not that anybody's ever healed because that's ridiculous. There's no
It's
ED.
ongoing
That's like
nonstop.
if you have a cut in your leg, you can heal it. If you have an emotional wound, you're always healing it. But the degree of healing happens in every interaction you have in life, and the more peaceful you are around the healing is, for me, that's the goal. All this stuff's going to come up, all this shit is gonna, like, sometimes it's lake shitty caca, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's just I'm doing good with my healing, I'm taking care of myself, I'm doing all these exercises, and then in walks a bunch of shite and you go, and my instinct is to go, well, I thought I was at this healing
Aren't we
place,
done?
and
Aren't we
now
done?
Now I realize, oh, okay, right. That is life. Continued stuff. Issues that have still are showing up. It's where I'm coming from, how much room I have, how much I give to myself. I'll give an example of overfunctioning in action. So we had all these people around the last few days moving huge equipment, things that move huge 10 by 16 sheds
Oh, wow.
from one part of a property to another, and gravel was involved, and machines, that person that was taking care of the machine flipped over the back of it and almost tipped over
Oh
and
my goodness.
tumbled down a hill, that stuff. And I was like, in my mind,
Mhm.
I'm not the one doing the work either. Right.
No.
And so I'm also watching my mom and how she handles overfunctioning. Oh, let me go get everybody water. Mom, getting people water while they're operating big machinery is not a good idea. But my mom will put herself in physical harm because somebody needs water. And that's not oh, look at how gracious my mom is. There's a piece of that, but it's also over
It's her overfunctioning.
yeah.
Yes.
And then me sitting with her and saying, Mom, if I've got to manage all this and manage you and keeping you safe from yourself and your overfunctioning, you're actually adding to nervous system labor
Yes.
for me. So can we just walk out in the day and just set our intention in the beginning that you're going to try not to do that? I'm going to try not to do my things. If I need to look away, like I used to with these things, I used to be act a little arrogant about it. Oh, I'm fine. I'm the calm one. It's all good. Look at all, as if I'm some orchestra conductor making sure. And in a way, you are. But what I realize is how much I wasn't there for myself. The anxiety that I had is
It
perfectly normal, but I
Yep.
was suppressing it so hard to appear
To
whatever.
appear. Yes.
Yeah, that I'm just fine and everything's great, that I didn't even allow myself to acknowledge my own feelings. And what I did yesterday was I was there for myself as my friend to myself. I just
That's beautiful.
had a hard time. If you can't watch that machine teetering on a cliff, you turn the other way and let it do its thing because these
That's
people
exactly
know
it.
what they're
Don't
doing.
look. Look away.
It was just more of like, okay, here's my hand. Here's my other hand. You got this. Like, you're okay. And that's new for me in the moment to be, you can be here for you. You can notice you. You exist within this matrix. It is not all about what you're thinking and doing and feeling. And if you aren't watching, someone's going to die and it'll be your fault because they did it on your watch and all those things. You can just rest and
Just
acknowledge all of that and be good.
That's amazing. And that's also, again, something new for me, learning to steady myself for myself. Because, again, a lot of my connections might have been somewhat codependent. My relationships, they might have been somewhat codependent in that I didn't know how. I had no one that could model that type of self. I don't even know the word I'm trying to say, but showing up for myself, by myself was foreign to me until more recently, where now I'm like, and again, the thing for me is very much I have to touch myself to be present, right? This is I'm present, I'm here,
Yeah.
and then I can talk to me. And it's amazing how effective that can be in bringing you down a little bit when you're it's way up there. That's what it feels like. And this brings me back down into myself. And then I can talk to myself gently through it. Sometimes it's like I'm talking to a child and it's me.
Exactly. And sometimes we are to
Yeah.
that child that
Yeah.
didn't have anybody saying, are you okay? Are you okay through this? Are you da 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 da? Yeah. And so we do that for ourselves.
And we're in a society too that is very hustle culture is such a thing. And I think that both of my parents in their own way are neurodivergent, different ends. They're different ways, but I think both of them were, and they both struggled with hustle culture too.
Oh, absolutely.
I watched my mom overfunction with my jaw on the floor, like teaching full time, raising 4 kids, going to university at the same time, doing all of that. And then again, how was she supposed to have anything left to nurture those more tender parts of us? There just wasn't anything left. And again, that's not anybody's fault. That was the demands, right? And nobody told them that it could be different.
Yeah, I know. It makes me more able to look at everyone through a lens of, well, yes, this person may be acting like a jerk right now, or whatever the way they're behaving. I'm perceiving that that's what it is, but I don't know the whole story, so I don't need to automatically. It's enough of something to give me a pause, because I think what happens
Yes.
with people
Yeah.
like us is we're so hyper vigilant. We had to learn how to read the room, read people, everything. That's over functioning too.
It
But we
is.
had to do that to stay alive, right? To
We did.
survive childhood. And so you develop it. And so I never gave things room to breathe. I meet someone, I immediately okay, this is where I can be safe. This is how I can navigate this. And 80% of my perception around it was probably right because of I
Yes.
stayed alive in situations. So I'm obviously good at this, but 20% of it was wrapped up in my trauma. And at other times, more of a percentage, I was wrapped up in my trauma. And that influenced how I see people and this, and no room to process anything. So, how would I have the room to have any extension of understanding past my own little world that I could only live in because I was so, ugh. So now I like the pregnant pause. Just, okay, don't need to make a conclusion about all of this right now. I
No.
can take time to think about it later. Since I process things somatically, I'm going to feel it in my body first. So sometimes I've got to take a minute, a
Yep.
night or whatever, and I just was allergic to the pause.
The pause was hard.
Because the
Yeah.
pause
hmm
doesn't support over functioning in
It
any
doesn't.
way, does it?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But it's again, it's something that I started doing too, and it softens. Somehow it softens everything.
Yeah.
I used to get again my hypervigilance might be softening because I used to very quickly jump to the worst possible conclusion or the most
Yeah.
protective conclusion. And now I'm okay. You step back and oh, and it just immediately clicks in. Oh, it could be so many different things. I know that I have adaptations I'm still working on. We all do. And so then right there, I remember what the bigger picture is that we're all trying to unravel. So many of us are doing that work. And especially if I'm interacting with somebody who I know is, it's even easier for me to be, things don't bother me. Everything just, I don't get hurt feelings. I don't get as, as nervous or paranoid. I'm not as worried about being liked or accepted.
Yes.
It's amazing, and that's different for me because I had several years of vigilance to the point of isolation, hermiting, and that's something I'm slowly trying to move out of and away from. But I'm finding it easier than it was before to connect with people, and again, being aware that we're all on our journeys and we're all trying our best with what we've got and how far we've come. It never ends, but it helps to know that. It helps to have an idea of the bigger picture of how we're socialized and conditioned. And that too adds to a softening.
Yeah, because I think what I've done this is I've gotten really defensive at different times because honestly, that's all the room I had was for that, right? Because I didn't let anything out, so I had no room. But my defensiveness around the things that I need to do is, and that other people need to do, is definitely going down, down, down. Like it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to be messy. If somebody looks at me and rolls their eyes, who cares? Whatever. I can be a kooky weirdo. That's part of my charm. You don't like it? Fine. But for me, I guess I would want people to understand and also offer validation to people who get this too. When you have been on display and female and all the pressures that we have, which are pressure, but they're different pressures than men. Some are the same, but some are very
More different.
different. The pressure to not show who you actually are is immense.
Really is. It really is.
If anybody catches you being who you are, it's, "Oh, I better button it up. I better be even more next time. I better," and that, yeah, that becomes part of your, what is it, your autonomic processing or
Yeah.
your whole nervous system, and then you never can relax.
No, no,
And
that's
when you
very much true.
Yeah, and when you start doing it, usually after diagnosis, a lot of people are having this happen where you wobble. And I wrote about that. You wobble for a minute, and it is so important not to make decisions in the wobble,
I
not big life
agree.
decisions.
I agree. Yes. You can, again, can over identify with the label, with the diagnosis. And again, we don't have to consider that diagnosis a real pathology, right? We just consider it a difference.
Just
It can be
data.
hard to get there because most of the data is disability based,
Yes.
right? So deficit based. And so it can be really hard to navigate that this is not a deficit. So for a little while, even I believed I can't do this. I can't do that.
Right.
Instead of just looking at it
Same.
and saying, I can do this. I just might need to do it a little differently.
You know what's weird too? The more I have people like you in my life and the other people in my life, and listen, we are all varieties of effed upness, right? All varieties, because we've all been through trauma. So there's that. But what I find lately is I feel the most normal I've ever felt in my life within this paradigm. Oh, this is what it's like to just sit with friends and talk about logistics about your house. I didn't have room to talk about what do I want to put a painting on my wall. There was no time for any of that. Even when I was running around getting paid this and doing this and flying here and there, there were certain things in my life that could not be detailed too, that were normal things.
That's true for me too. True for me too. I'm still not there.
Yeah.
I had a landscaper come here today because this house is all gardens. The woman who lived here before me was an avid gardener, and it is everywhere. And I can't keep up with it. I enjoy a little bit.
It's
I
a
enjoy a certain amount, but
jungle.
this is the whole property. It was manicured, like it was beautiful, but I can't keep up with it. So the landscaper comes to me and says, "So what's your vision?" And I said, "I don't know. Let's just make it look different. Make it look decent. Let's just
Do something. I don't know what.
I
Don't make
don't
me make
care.
a
I don't know.
decision.
I can't think that way right now, right?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just said, "I've seen your photos of your before and afters. I trust you.
Do
Just make
something
it
like
look nice
that.
and lower maintenance." That's my
Yeah.
only request is lower maintenance.
Yeah.
I'm not in a place where, again, I live very isolated from my family. My any system that I have is not here. I am alone here with again, I have two dependents. I have a dog and a son. And and I and it's me, I'm the adult. And I can't, it's a large property and I'm trying to navigate that on my own. And so there's no bandwidth for those little things. There's
Right.
no vision of this garden looks like this, that I can't get there yet. I'm not supported enough. And that's nobody's fault. It's just circumstantial. And it's getting through, and it's remembering I'm getting through a few years and then selling this place and moving on to something that's more suited to who I am.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Something more aligned with what I have, with what I can nurture, because this
Right.
is more than that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I'm over functioning still, but
Right.
it's necessary short term for me to do what I have to do to look after this place until I can get out of this place.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah. It took us 3.5 years in the place that we're at now, which has all these conveniences that we wanted because we were so away from civilization where we were before, that we're in the country, but things are close. And that is a perfect blend for me. I want to be back in the woods, but there better be a freaking grocery store
Has to be
that's
something.
5 minutes away because
Mhm.
I just can't take care of mom the way I need to if I'm driving 45 minutes to get somewhere. And if you're able to set your life to do that, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But learning that role in overfunctioning too, how much we get into minutia about things instead of just letting some things roll because of circumstance, that you
Yes.
have to just let things roll.
Yes.
I
That's
like that.
also true.
That's why I talked about that horizon thing that I talk about, because for me, anytime I just can't deal with something right now that is not an emergency, and I do not run my life on how many tasks I can get in a day, good for you. That is not how I run my life anymore.
No, me either.
Now it's, you know what? We can't find mom's phone. God knows where she put it. Let's just put that on the horizon because I need to go to sleep. I have animals to feed. I have a mother to make sure is taking
Mhm.
all the stuff she needs to. And the phone, oh, I can hear how expensive it is and all those things pinging me. But you know what? I need to go to sleep. And that's the difference. Before, when I was hyper this and hyper that and didn't know myself and didn't give myself time to root, I would have not been able to sleep.
You'd have had to find that phone before you could sleep.
Yeah, and now I'm whatever. And the world will tell you you're irresponsible, you're all these things because you aren't going after it, getting this,
Mm-hmm.
and you better make sure it all looks good at the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
because you might need to film how you perfectly figured this out. Good God.
Yeah. And I'm again learning to allow myself to be a little bit messy. From
I
the
mean, look at
drive
this.
by my house, it'll look decent. But if you walk right into the property through to the other, you are going to see a mess. You're going to see weeds because I don't care. I don't have the energy to care. And
Yeah.
who decided that our lawns and gardens have to look the way they do anyway? Who decided?
Yeah, y'all have no idea what's going on behind this table here. But yeah, why do we need 12 cat things that they only lay on the year? I don't know. And what is with my flock of seagulls? Anyway, whatever. All those things that you just go, oh, we are as a society, we're closing in on people enjoying seeing people in the wild, not in the wild of, oh, I'm on this great adventure and I'm jumping off a cliff. Look at me doing this thing. No, people are gravitating toward
Real.
here is someone wearing no makeup, they're whatever, and they're eating soup and they're talking about life, and that will get 1,000 follows
Yes.
and likes as opposed to a perfectly curated thing. Although some of those things still do, but in the lane we're in with what we do, the things that get the most attention are the ones where you're, I got something right here. But anyway, let me
Yes.
tell you about Granny's wisdom, and that goes off into the stratosphere. And what to be careful of is not getting addicted and dopamine rush to that. There has to
Yes.
be a balance with how much you share about your life as well. And that everybody doesn't, you and I are writers. We write about our journey. Our
We do.
nervous system is, we write that. In terms of over functioning, how have you dealt with that piece where you need to write? You need to write. Sometimes it's about a situation or other people and you've got to work it out. Where do you sit when you look at it and you go, should I put that out? Should I not? Is it going to hurt someone's feelings? Is it going to da da da?
I haven't been so worried about hurting anyone's feelings. I feel like anyone who's reading what I'm writing, it's not on my personal page. Well, on TikTok, one of them is, but a lot of my friends aren't even on that page. It's just people I connected with there. But on Facebook, I have a separate page, and I'm not considering other people's feelings when I post. But what I do, because again, there's a softening that's going on within me anyway.
Yeah.
It's real. I use a lot of metaphor. I speak of nature, and I always add that layer of understanding where like it compassion doesn't eliminate harm, right? There's still harm, but again, you can still hold space for the other person. So again, I'm cautious, right? But not to the point where I'm censoring. I can say what I have to say, and sometimes I get flowery and creative about it in order to
So diffuse it a little.
yeah, and there is a softness. So that's not even fake. That's a real expression because that
Yeah.
softness is true now. At one time it wasn't. At one time, at first when I started realizing things, there was a lot of anger. There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go through that actual pissed off stage where you realize things you didn't know before, didn't notice in your interactions with other people, in your relationships, the roles you played. And so there's that period of anger. And I was careful then. And that might have been a little bit protective, but now it's not. Now I'm saying what I have to say and I mean it. And if they're reading it, they're probably doing the work too. There has been nothing negative said to me by anybody that knows me.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that either. I did when I was doing podcasting and I was doing it when I was masked. That then, yeah, I definitely had people that would get upset, not very often from people I know. what was weird was a lot of the time it was people that thought I was saying something about them that had nothing to do with them at all. And I
You
thought,
weren't you weren't referring to them. They just assumed it
no,
was them.
they just assumed. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting too. But I go in a different route now too. I'm always very careful about it because I don't like the guilt or feeling like I've hurt someone, but then I need to say what I've got to say. But I do it in the same way where I go, I'm careful. I'm a writer. This is what we do. And I'm not
How we
going to,
process.
exactly. And I'm not going to overfunction my responsibility around things I cannot control.
No, no, that's true. That's true. And you, when you, well, I guess you might want to edit this because I forgot what I was going to say.
No, this is part of neurodivergence
God,
right here
God.
and menopause and all those
It
things.
was a great thought, and then it just vanished.
It'll come back. I do that and I'm always, it'll come back. It'll come back to if I'm supposed to say it, it'll come back. But I've had the sweetest thing with people that they're just at the beginning journey of figuring out what the hell is going on with them. And they read stuff and they get into it. And then some people will message me and then they go through this process of where they really start to feel better about themselves. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. They're on their journey. But then they want to share every step of their journey with me and they'll start sending me 80,000 texts. And I'm okay, listen, I am so happy for you.
Yep.
However, you can't outsource your nervous system to somebody else.
No.
Have to contain because I remember when I first started really getting back into writing, I would screen print all these things and I just wanted to share them with everybody. Don't you see how great this is? And people would be like, I'm not in the mood for your whatever. And I have my own shit to deal with. Seriously, Kristin. And so I just learned, okay, I can keep it to myself. I'm excited about it for me.
Yep. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not real, right? I think
Exactly.
some people need other people to see it or a specific person to see it because maybe that's all they're comfortable with in order for it to really be real. They want to
Yeah.
share it. But again, it doesn't have to be one specific person. That's kind of why mine goes out there, right? I never had a person. Like there was no one for me to share anything with. No one I felt safe sharing anything with. And so from my sister, right? Occasionally my sister, but I also realized I didn't want to tax her. I don't like putting my weight on other people. It doesn't feel good to me. And so I processed myself and I wrote. And that was it. And I put it out there as a way of sharing it. So then I wasn't taxed. Again, if you were going to read it, you wanted to read it. I wasn't making somebody
Exactly. They can choose
right?
to go look at it. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And I found the same thing. Sometimes I'll get contacted and ask questions and big long shares, which I don't really mind.
Not at all. Yeah.
But again, there's boundary and get to the point where I just don't see for a few days or I'll suggest processing through writing themselves and sharing it the same way. That is how I did it.
Yes.
And because I being empathetic and I'm empathetic to such an extreme that I will feel it with you. I will be
Oh my God.
going through it right there beside you as if it was happening to me. And so I do have to be careful.
Same here. Like I can't wake up. Well, I've thought about this. I get irritated when I wake up in the morning and there's like 50 text messages. And I'm not kidding when I say 50. That's
a lot. That's a lot to wake up to.
And I went 3.5 years without getting any text messages. And then when I turned and I was getting hundreds a day, and then I went to nothing and was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I could put my phone in a drawer and I'd even know that I have a phone for weeks, right? And now we're back to a modified version of what I did before. And I'm just, okay, all right. You can navigate this from a healthier place because I do tend to have people come in and that's I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't healthy enough though to I over functioned in that so hard that I made it messy for myself. I'm not putting that on anybody else. And I made different choices that were very difficult for me because I didn't have any boundaries.
Same. Oh, you're saying the same.
Yeah.
Same experience that I had. Even the way you went from busy phone to dead phone to now it's picking up like the parallels are phenomenal.
No,
It's really mind-blowing.
it's so funny. Yeah. And when you wake up with 50 messages, I instantly go, God. And then I'm irritated with not everybody, but I'm irritated and I'm, wow. And then I sit and go, okay, all right. You can choose to be irritated about this, or you can choose to wear a hat of something else, Kristen. That's what I tell myself. Wear a different hat about it for a day.
Or
Don't,
see it as I can answer these
or
when I get
not.
to it. That's right. Or not.
Exactly.
Or when I feel like it, right? There are
Exactly.
times I know that I can't respond and I no
Exactly.
longer pressure myself to answer. I will answer, but it will be when I can. So then I'm giving an answer that's meaningful instead of just responding when you're in
From
a rush or focused
yeah.
on something else. Yeah, they're going to get a more thorough or deeply thought through response. So that's something that I now don't have a problem with anymore. Before I would have done gymnastics to get to everything right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And was I pleasant enough? Did I help
Oh,
just my God, the
the
stuff.
analysis. Oh yes. Oh
Or
yes.
was I too much of a jerk? Was I too harsh? Am I going to hurt their, oh my God, please. And I thought it was funny the other day, well, just yesterday when all these equipment people were here, which have been for a few days, when the last big piece of heavy machinery left the property, I was, okay, nobody died. Nobody got hurt. It's all good. But I remember the day before this big move was going to happen with a shed and an RV and all this stuff. People that work in construction or whatever, we've dealt with that every day. But if you're not used to that, it's a big deal.
It's overwhelming. Yeah,
On a
it's a lot.
country mountain with tiny roads and all that. But my friend Tom, which you all know him as Nat's Rant, I said to him on the phone, I'm just going to try not to have anxiety the next day, yesterday, about what's going on. And he goes, yeah, you can choose. You choose. And the way he says it, because I know him enough now and I feel safe with him, my nervous system feels safe there with people like you also. I don't get defensive all the time with Tom. Not all the time.
Good.
Sometimes
Good.
when he says those things, because the whole man telling woman to calm down.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's a
No,
trigger. Yeah,
don't
that's a
do
trigger.
it. Save yourself. Don't do it. But anyway,
Write that
aside
down.
from the in your camera, yes, but he was able to say it in a way that was, you don't have to necessarily do that. And I heard him and I went, you're right. I actually don't. There is a choice here. And that's how I look at all
How
those messages
beautiful
too. There's a
that
choice. I
you
don't
could
have to get up.
know him that well and in such a way that he could say that to you and it doesn't trigger that response, that reaction of how dare you, don't you dare, right? That shows a lot of, you've both invested a lot into that relationship.
Yeah, yeah, to be really good, safe friends.
It's a
And
good
then
friend.
also, but also not over functioning, also not limerence, also when irritated about a loop that continues on and on and on, either one of us, you're in a loop.
I would love somebody to tell me that. I would
Really?
actually really appreciate it if I did that. I've never had anybody tell me, but I would love it. I'd be like, "Oh, that's right." And I know how to navigate it once I realize sometimes I don't know I'm doing it. Oh, the
You
things
know what? All you have to do is ask for that. Ask, because I asked for specific things
Did you?
at the end of last year. I asked for young men that are around my son's age to come into my life that I could get some of that energy out that I love about people my son's age, since my son and I are taking a break from each other for a little bit. But I still have that energy. I still want to do that, right? So I asked for that. And then it was like 3 minutes later, here's a bunch of young men your son's age.
You're manifesting it. And with me, it was the female wound. I realized that again, my relationship with males, the romantic part, that there were struggles there. There were a lot of issues I had to work through. But my connections with women, I realized the way conditioning and trauma and just the way we were to each other sometimes, there was a lot of harm. And so I wished for female friends, and you showed up, and
Same.
Christina showed up, and I asked for something meaningful and it arrived.
Yeah.
Really grateful. I'm really
I know.
grateful.
And oh my God, after all these men, I need estrogen. And then boom.
Yes.
You, my friend Derica, Kelly. Thank you for my purse, Kelly. All of these amazing women showed up, and I'm, oh wow, this is how this works.
It's
Hmm.
wonderful. It's refreshing.
It's going to a place where you get regulated, you have some self-love, you've created room, and then you ask from that space. You don't ask from, please
Yes.
give me that Mercedes or whatever. Not that it's wrong to ask for a Mercedes, it's just don't ask from grasping. Don't ask from the grasp. How's that? Like, don't
That's a
ask.
good way to say it. Don't ask from the grasp. I love
Yeah.
that.
So true, because you ask it and then be prepared because it will show up and you still, it doesn't mean that those things show up and everything is hunky dory. It means that those things show up and you still got to process your shit with them.
Yep. Yeah, it's more layers, right?
Yeah.
But you're doing it from a different set point, which it's a lot easier. It's not perfect, but it makes it a little bit easier. Especially
Yeah.
when nobody's masking, nobody's
Yeah.
performing, nobody's like, I mean,
Nobody's
I
performing
can
wellness
see it.
either. Like no one's
No,
performing wellness
no.
either. You're trying to also not traumatize or cause nervous system dysregulation in someone else because you're actively in it, which means sometimes if you're at that place, you do need to excuse
Yep.
yourself because
Yeah.
this is a bit much
We
for
all know that we
someone.
can feel each other's nervous systems,
Yeah.
right? And so we're considerate of each other that way. And again, that's totally new for me, right? Because like much like things I've read from your writing, you were the regulator.
Yeah.
You regulated other people. I
And I'm
showed up
like,
the
no
same
one
way.
should have been regulating from me. I can tell you
No.
that right now, but they were
Mhm.
plugging in anyway. And in a way it stabilizes you for a minute because you're having to do it for them. But in the end, you pay for it because
Yeah,
all this.
that's right. That's right. I think that I did it. A lot of the reason why I did it was I was good at it. What I was really exceptionally good at
Yeah.
helping people calm down, regulate, process, sort through. It was natural for me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think I was trying to prove worth. Like
God,
they
yeah.
might have been good at other things that I wasn't. And so, well, I'm good at this. So I'll show up and do that.
Let me be your emotional Cinderella.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Pretty
Without
much.
even, you don't even have to ask me. So when I get
Oh, I'm
angry,
just going to do it. Yep.
resentful
Mhm.
later at you, it's okay. I actually signed up for that. Let
Mhm.
me examine.
Yep. And then I can't get out of bed for 2 days because
Yes.
I siphoned all of and I took it and I carried it. It's weird that that can happen. And I don't fully understand it, but yeah, you was almost assume it as yours. And then you feel it for a few days. It stays with you.
It takes a while to get out. I had this happen the other night. I had a friend of mine had brought over some wine that they make themselves, and it's so gorgeous. I do not drink anymore, but I'm not about it. If someone wants to have a glass of wine, I have a glass of wine. So I had a glass of wine. It was probably two glasses of wine because she basically handed me a jug. Try my wine, and I didn't want to say no. Not that I was over functioning because I can do it. So anyway, I had the wine, and I got that rush of great feeling that you get when you get a little. And I went, oh, I remember this. And it was so flowery and it was so magnanimous. And it was so, I don't need anything that makes me higher than I already am naturally. That is something I've learned. I already run high without the substances, right? But here's what I noticed because gummies are fine for
Yeah.
me. They're fine
Yeah.
because
I
they
don't have a
don't
problem
leave
with
you
those
with a
either.
drop. Whereas wine, about 2 hours after oh, this feels wonderful, I had no patience, no empathy. I was just flat. I
What
went,
goes up must come down. Right.
exactly. And I went, oh, right. I'm glad that I did this because I'm not going to get on the phone with anybody tonight because I'll just not be pleasant to be around. And this is what that does. It literally sucks so much of that out of me. And I put so much of that energy into the moment that I'm overflowing with it and I'm not dribbling it out so that it's layered over time. And I'm glad I got to see this other way of drinking because then I went, okay, yeah, this is why you don't want to drink. Great. And this is why it's important to be regulated because all of that flooding at once means that it's got to recoup later. And you don't want to be around other humans when you're recouping.
No. Nope, that's true.
You don't want to be around your
Mhm.
dogs that are going to be more annoying than usual
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to be like, knock it off. Whereas before you knock it off because you're regulated. So it was a really good experience for me to see that from another side and go, okay, yep, I will continue to not drink.
Yep. Same with me. Same with me. Again, being in perimenopause, that actually was the final decider. I was never much of a drinker, but an occasional social drinker. Or if I had to go to an event where there were a lot of people, it was almost a necessity. I had to have a little bit just to even get in the door.
Right. And that was a regulation tool
It
then.
was. It
And
was.
now we can go,
No,
not anymore. Doesn't
no,
work anymore.
no. And waking up again, having a drink and then waking up soaked in sweat in the
Oh,
middle
yeah.
of the night, right?
Oh,
Because
right.
yeah, yeah, it just wasn't worth it anymore.
The puffy face,
Yep.
yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Julie,
Are we timed up?
we're timed up. That was so good. Yay. So please tell everybody where they can find your writing.
I am on Substack, Julie Raines, Roots and Wings. I am on Facebook, Roots and Wings. And you can also find me on TikTok. You can look for Roots and Wings or Julie Raines.
Fantastic. Everybody, I guarantee you it's the loveliest writing. So please go there and check her out. And thank you, everybody, for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
Absolutely. And we'll talk after. We'll do the
Okay.
after show right now.
Sounds
Bye,
good.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Find Mental Health News Radio on all major podcast platforms. To explore our full lineup of shows and hosts, visit mhnrnetwork.com or just Google Mental Health News Radio. We're all over the place. And be sure to check out our newest show, Lawn Chairs in Space, a different kind of conversation where we explore liminal, freeform discussions with voices in the neurodivergent community. You can also find us on YouTube, Insta, and TikTok at MHNR Network and Mental Health News Radio. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.